bit that won't make the show, because let's not do that. Erik just roasted me with a Woodstock joke, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. I laughed, though.
Well, I'm the one in age who's closest to when Woodstock actually happened.
Yeah, I was going to make that.
I brought up the last Woodstock to somebody at work recently, like the one in the late 90s, and she went, "There's never been another Woodstock since the first one." I was like, "Are you in denial? Are you serious?" She goes, "No, there was one." I'm like,
"No,
there were several."
And they tried to do a fourth one this year.
Oh, God. Like, the second one was arguably as successful as the first one.
Yeah, the third one
with Limp Bizkit.
The third one's a disaster that basically shut the whole festival down, and like people got hurt, and there was riots, and like they were selling like water for like what $14 a bottle.
Yeah, the third is famous for rapes and people throwing shit at the stage.
Awesome.
Peace, love, everybody.
Yeah, you know.
Sometimes you just don't want to wake up. Like a motherfucking chainsaw.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to throw shit at Fred Durst. Yeah.
Are you quoting Limp Bizkit right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
It's funny to plug another podcast, but you should listen to Pod the Life, the history of Limp Bizkit, a real podcast that actually exists.
Are you fucking serious?
Before we tailspin off that, hi everybody, I'm Connor McGraw, and welcome to what the fuck is this? After Dark 68 and a third?
Something like that.
Yeah.
68 over 128.529
It's like,
days.
Yeah,
Dream, drop, distance, chain of memories.
This is all new 22. That's the official title.
Hyper Fighting Championship Edition Turbo. EX plus Alpha 2 Arcade Edition.
This version, Connor can use handcuffs, and Lewis can launch fireballs from the air.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
Yeah. They nerfed me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Rainbow Edition. Sorry, that's the one that had all the crazy stuff in it.
Yeah, they made you shorter.
Yeah.
It's the only way they could fit you in frame.
They're like, we already have a Dulcin. We can't have a Hunter Davenport. This is ridiculous.
His reach is too ridiculous. We gotta.
Yeah. He doesn't even stretch, and he's already reaching across the screen.
He can throw a normal full screen. It's not working.
There's the only way to fit you in the HD remastered.
The aspect ratio is fucked in the arcade edition. You couldn't fit on screen. Who else is here?
Harlan Haro signing on.
The internet's tall boy, Hunter Davenport, here.
I've returned from the deep sea voyages I was on for the great state of Minnesota. It's Erik Fedorchuk.
You should have stuck with him. Pirate.
I don't know why you laugh so hard.
Now imagine if you did that for the entire episode.
My throat would be just like gargling glass.
Yeah, it's like asking me to keep up that Macho Man impression for any longer than 30 seconds.
But 10% off of coffee.
That guy had a heart attack.
and the human growth hormone.
And then crashed into a tree.
Yeah. And saved us from the rapture.
Right.
So I'm Luke Gonzalez. When you said 33 to third, my first thought was Naked Gun and wondering if OJ was on this episode.
Oh, no.
Well, no, but he is here with us in spirit, of course.
Here, do you want me to tweet at him?
He's on Twitter.
He's got.
You can say he's killing it.
You know,
do you think OJ would come on the show if we asked him to?
I'm really glad OJ Simpson took a snap at this Twitter thing.
I bet you if we had like $3,000, we could get him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like a bottle of dark rum.
I mean, I feel like that's easy though. Like, if we just get him on the merit of our show, like just.
I don't know if anybody would even ask him. So you could always tweet at him and ask.
What do I get in return? Well, Mr. Simpson, I have a blonde woman here.
We can do a whole episode and talk about his rap album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can tell him that we're ardent fans of his innocence, and we'd like him to spend the next 2 hours telling us about it.
Okay, we tell him we're going to talk about his rap album, but then we bring him on when we talk about Macho Man's rap album.
I mean, the best way to get him on is to ask him about how he wishes he was in Terminator. Or if he does wish that he was in the Terminator as the Terminator, because he was the original casting of the T-100. He was the guy.
Can you imagine?
He was so famous, and I guess The only Eric, you're like more in the age group, or at least where you were old enough to like have known, but you were still like a teenager when he was.
Oh
big,
yeah, I
right?
was I was a freshman in high school, I think, when he got busted. But yeah, I mean, it's not something I really thought about until I watched that Killing of America. Was that the movie?
Something like that.
Or OJ Murder Made in America, I think it was.
Yeah, Made in America.
Yeah. But like looking back on it, like he was just omnipresent. I just never really thought about it.
Well, that was his whole quote when he was like, when they were like saying, "Oh, but you're black." He's like, "I'm not black. I'm OJ." Like, he was this other. Like, I don't even think any other sports star has really like done, especially not non-wrestling like sports.
Michael Jordan.
No. Yeah, he's about as close as you can get, and even then,
but even then, he's terrible at it.
Yeah, the only one you can say right now is The Rock.
Like,
but he's a wrestler. I mean, like non-wrestling, no one.
Like Michael Jordan, it doesn't really work because he's outside of like OJ's acting. Like he's still never really been in the limelight quite the same way OJ was. Like
he didn't.
Also,
no.
Yeah. Also, then this is my assessment just based off of watching the stuff. Having like I wasn't there when it was happening, is what I'm trying to say. Michael Jordan.
Are you trying to saying you weren't there?
I wasn't. I was not there.
Not
I don't think he never achieved like a Mickey Mouse type of like level of fame, and I feel like OJ had that.
Well, what happened when Michael Jordan tried branching into stuff like acting? It's like Space Jam happened, and people were like, "Oh, don't ever do this again."
No, we all love Space Jam. Shut your mouth.
Michael Jordan was way more famous and way bigger than OJ, but he was not a personality. He's closer to Tiger Woods, like in that everybody knows who Tiger Woods is, but Tiger Woods is
actually pretty good. Yeah,
I
feel like it's
never
pretty
been in anything. OJ had this personality outside of the sport that I don't maybe like Shaq. Shaq kind of did it, but he did like 2 shitty movies.
Did he though?
Well, I think the best way, at least for me, to describe OJ is just that he was willing to do anything for money.
Yeah,
kept him in the limelight.
Right.
Anything, Eric.
Yeah, but I think that I feel like the public persona has something to do with it. Like,
oh yes, he understood anyone in his era, like how to play to the public.
Yeah, but you can also do anything for money to get in the limelight. But it helps that you're like genuinely talented too, because he's fucking funny.
Well, and let's not mince words here either. He knew exactly how to play to a white audience. Oh, and that's exactly what he was doing.
He was in like how it started. It's like he was in Naked Gun. He was Norbert. Norbert? Is that was the character?
Yeah, I think Norbert.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He was, which is hilarious. He was the safe black guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a show spun off about a show about CW, and we're talking about sports.
We're talking about O.J. Simpson. It's like
this is the most sports talk the show's ever seen.
Well, and even before Naked Gun, like he was the guy who did the Hertz rental car commercials.
Yep. Yeah.
And that was his way of presenting his. God, this sounds terrible coming from a white guy, but his best face forward to a white audience. Like he made himself approachable.
I'm trying to think of who would have taken his place. It's like I kind of think like LL Cool J stepped in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but later on.
Because his head turned to a shark fin.
Yeah. Now it's Ice-T.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you say Ice-T or Ice Cube?
Ice-T.
Yeah,
Cube too. Yeah.
Ice-T is the guy, which I love. Have you ever seen the Twitter of like goofing on his Twitter?
Yes.
It's the greatest thing.
John Mulaney has a really great bit about that where he's always finding out about drugs. Like it sounds like the first time.
Isn't this the joke where it's like he's like, you ever heard of this? It's like California crack corn, and it's like make your eyeballs blow up the second you smoke it. Like that's the gag. Like
it is.
Yeah.
So good.
I did like the version of him in Rick and Morty where he was iced tea and he was like an actual block of ice.
Yes.
Masquerading as Ice T, the rapper on Earth, and then when he goes back to his home planet, he becomes watery tea.
Him and Chris Evans have an S rank on Twitter. All they do is destroy people. That's all they do. Also, he is going to be in Borderlands 3. So
yes, he is.
That's a game I may not get because everything around it is gross.
Yeah. Well, Randy Pitchford, he's into magic.
The magic trick he's doing here is trying to get me to buy his game, and I'm not doing.
You know what he can't do is make a USB stick disappear.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm sure the woman that was on the video on his USB stick could make it disappear, but not the way we want it to.
He described her as barely legal. I'm like, you shouldn't use that qualifier in that sentence there, bud.
Well, in the interview, he said she's barely legal and that she's a magician.
Yes.
Which is
He's talking about something I could never figure out exactly what she was doing in the video based on description, but yeah, he talks about something she's doing and saying like she's a magician.
That whole story is so fucking stupid.
Do you guys know about most of the story? I know you do, Hunter.
I do too. Yeah.
Do you know where it was lost?
Like an internet cafe.
No. It was lost in medieval times.
Oh,
that's what it was.
Yes. Medieval times. The place where you get to go cheer for people jousting while you eat a chicken with your bare hands.
I think I've been to medieval times like 15 times because I lived near it. I went on an early date with my wife there with her entire sorority, which was fun, and got shit hammered.
Bernie.
I want to bring my wife to it sometime, but the nearest one I think is in Jersey.
Yeah, that's the one by Giant Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
I like the fact that the only two states I've lived in my adult years are the two states that both have medieval times.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's a place you go to eat a giant turkey leg and drink beer out of giant mugs.
Hell yeah!
Oh, it's awesome.
Scream for a fake joust.
Yeah.
Yes.
I watched the 10-minute power hour from James Russell. Aaron and Danny go and try out for medieval times. It's the fucking funniest thing because Aaron is awkwardly hitting on the queen the whole time.
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh my gosh, she saw me. Danny's like, "I know. She's also married, and you're married, so you should stop."
It's so good.
Oh man. And they're both horrendously non-athletic and trying to hold up these giant fucking jousting weapons. It's so funny.
I actually worked with somebody who because I live in DC area, they was getting into a club where they train and do medieval sword fighting.
Yeah, my coworker was getting into one because him and his wife are big into the Renaissance festivals and stuff.
I want to go to a Renaissance fest, but he said it was fucking hard in it.
That's the thing. He came back and it sounded like apparently the people who run these Renaissance fair stagey fight club thingamajigs are more hardcore than 80s pro wrestlers who would drop a knee over your leg, shatter your ankle, take your money, and go, "You're not cut out for this business, kid." And these dudes are like, "All right, I'm going to hit you in the face with this stick, and if you flinch, you're out."
Damn.
Well, it's when I was in high school, we my one friend Jason and I did a presentation when we were covering a medieval period and whatnot in our English class, and there was a guy actually from the Ren Fair who came in and helped us out and taught us about baffling swords is what they use, which are just PVC pipes that are wrapped in insulation and duct tape, and you beat the piss out of each other with them. And initially it's oh, this doesn't hurt that bad. After maybe half an hour of that, you're like, please stop. Please, no.
Don't fucking hit me anymore.
Right.
I have been hit with, let me run off a laundry list of shit here. A metal pole, a chair, yes. Right to the back of the head. A metal crutch, which for some reason was the most painful thing I've ever been hit with.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Well, it came down. I was on all fours. I was getting up, and my friend Billy decides he's not going to tell me he's going to swing a metal crutch at me. And he turns my back and the crutch into a plus sign, and just brings it straight down like a hammer across my back. And he hit me square in the middle of the spinal cord, and it was a wave of shock and pain. It went down to my fucking tailbone and up to the back of my head. And he was, and I made a sound, and he's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Get the fuck away from me."
The irony, if you were crippled by an item that is used to
I gotta say, Connor, you gotta keep telling me the story because I'm getting harder than Chinese algebra right now.
Oh, fucking damn it!
No.
Okay, two little sides.
I was gonna say but Connor, did they go full force?
Okay, can we talk about Robert?
All I want to do is talk about that because, like, I don't
All
know
right,
how.
let's offer some context real quick. So, I think Arlen and Eric, you might be the ones who haven't watched it.
I was
this?
at work when you.
Okay,
sent that,
so
I think.
iDubbbz released this video where he went and hung out with this YouTuber called Airsoft Fatty, who's this kid who lives in Battle Creek, Michigan. Battle Creek is Michigan for shithole.
It's a real bad place. Vince Gilligan's follow-up to Breaking Bad took place there.
Yeah,
I would say it's like it's methy, but with Mountain Dew. Like it's
right, yeah, totally.
That's a very good analogy.
Like
after the meth is done, you dip it in Mountain Dew.
Yeah, and it rains Faygo.
It starts when they get presented with.
Yeah,
the gifts?
So iDubbbz goes and hangs out with this dude, and like he doesn't have any bad intentions. He just wants to go interview this kid and kind of just see what he's like. And if you don't know who Airsoft Fatty is, you might know him from the kid who's in. He's like a 22-year-old in a lightsaber fight in his front yard, and then trips over some garbage cans and just fucking collapses. Like, he topples like a mountain. It's fantastic looking.
He's a 400-pound man, so like it's.
Yeah. Wait, really? He's 400 pounds.
He's 400 pounds. He says he's over 400 pounds.
The thing is, and he looks like he's 15. And when they started doing bong hits and driving, I was like, "Wait, how old?" I legit thought it was a child, like a teenager.
That was the thing. Like, I've seen part of this video, and his face. There's so much fat on it that I can't tell.
Yeah, he's like 23 or 24.
He's ageless. Like he's ageless.
But like
he's inevitable.
So, like, this video is an hour long, so we're not going to break it down bit by bit. But, like, iDubbbz goes out there with no intentions, really. He's not there to make fun of this kid. He's not there to build him up. But he goes out there just to observe. And it's like a nature documentary. But,
my God. Okay.
But with one kid who is very unhealthy, who seems really charming and very nice. And then he's all the weirdness around
What is the one quote that iDubbbz says? It's like, I became the autism whisperer, or something, because he gets surrounded like Fatty's friends are there, and there's like
he makes it a point to say those kids are not Fatty's friends. Like he gets there, like these 4 kids who never show up again for the entire trip, who just pepper him with questions, so he never actually gets to hang out with Fatty the whole. And so he just and all of them go, yeah, I'm autistic. Me too. And you can see iDubbbz going, oh no. Like, they're against autistic people at all, but he's stuck there with these very socially awkward kids, and he's just like, I'm not here to entertain you guys. Like, I'm just please go.
They're asking about other YouTubers.
Yeah,
he makes a point to point out Fatty's real friends too. It's like it's not
he was like, these people are Fatty's friends. These people are here to talk to a YouTube celebrity. But he has. Oh, go ahead.
My biggest question is going to be how delicious is the lead paint in that area? Because it sounds like it's
the
greatest thing.
Dude, I have not yet begun to speak about the characters that show up.
I was going to say the lead paint doesn't exist because it's been eaten away by cat piss.
So I am obsessed with one character that shows up in this documentary. His name is Robert.
And God. He needs to be on every list.
So this kid, Robert, was like, he shows up at the end of this whole thing, and basically the gist is that he used to be on Fatty's videos all the time. They had a falling out because apparently Robert's a fucking sociopath.
Yeah.
I'm not being hyperbolic.
No.
That is an actual, factual serial killer in the making, and it was very bizarre, and you can see it on the face of iDubbbz and his friends. Like, we are in the presence of someone who could kill someone.
All right, can I just say what he said? So they're talking to Robert, and then they're referencing like some posts that he made at some point about if I die, the world won't exist. And he's just like, "What did you mean by that?" And he's like, "Well,
my demon.
I blacked out, and then I had these visions of like this dark, fiery place, and I just don't want to go any further because."
He's like, I don't want to talk about it on YouTube. I'm like, what?
And he's just like, because when I say no emotions, dead stare, blank, like.
He's got the emptiest eyes I've ever seen on here.
Think Sling Blade, but like he'll kill you.
Well, just on a purely clinical level, like somebody saying like, "When I die, the world won't exist anymore." That is key point of being a sociopath.
Yeah.
And
Right.
someone who is willing to murder so they don't have to worry about the world existing.
His implication was that when he dies, the demon that inhabits his body is going to take over and cause the apocalypse or something.
It really doesn't matter. It's still a fucking sociopathic.
He also implied he had a sword duel in the middle of the desert in New Mexico.
And he said the other guy didn't walk away.
You know who used to say crazy shit, not along those lines, but about things going on in the desert? Was not Anton LaVey. It was Aleister Crowley, and all he was doing was feeding his victims acid and having sex with them in the desert.
No.
Right.
But when you say having sex with them, he was having them like pound him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes. He was the ultimate power bottom.
Yeah.
Love is love, guys. You can't judge.
Oh my god, this episode is insane.
Okay.
The one thing I love though is they start off the interview by asking him if he has any weapons on him, and he pulls out a knife.
Besides this knife, I have to say is the second besides Fatty, the only other person that's like at all like nice is a pyromaniac.
Yeah, the only real friend in this video that Fatty apparently has is a kid named Mike, who is like, okay, like every time you see him, he's getting high and also just starting fires for nobody and no reason. And at some point in the video, like there's things going on that iDubbbz is filming, and they'll catch Mike like in the bushes, just sitting by himself, staring off into nothing.
What type of high is this guy getting? Is he just smoking pot?
Well, they're
is
all
he
smoking weed the whole
puffing
time.
paints?
Well, okay, we see him smoking weed. What we don't see him doing is anything else, and that could be anything else because you watch him and you're like, okay, you like I don't know what's going on in your head, but I just see like just a single seagull flapping like against an empty sky.
But he's not scary. He's just like
he's empty.
Out.
Yeah.
Because I know you guys had posted a few pictures in the group chat, and I couldn't tell if that was the guy who was going to be a sociopathic killer, or if it was this other guy who was.
Oh no, we posted pictures of Robert with the beard.
Okay, because there's one guy who looks like he's always focused on the middle distance, regardless of what he's looking at.
He's staring at the ghost by your side.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah,
the Fatty situation is so like they are like him and his mom. They are like the definition of like middle America white trash. Like,
yeah, it seemed to be like this is inferring because I don't know these people personally, but it seems to be people who fell on hard times and never got out of it.
Yeah. There's no way that they don't live.
One thing bad enough happened to make it so everything became irreparable.
They implied that once dad died, that they kind of were not doing so great.
Yeah, it seems like they're just living off of like government assistance.
Yeah,
like he has like a gigantic Mac computer, like the one that's like the screen, but it's covered in cat shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 30 cats at property. 30.
There's one cat in a pink dress who only eats ice cream, by the way.
No, not just ice cream. She likes specifically Neapolitan.
Yeah. And she has one eye.
How have these cats not overtaken the house and eaten them?
They have overtaken the house?
No.
They have.
No, but God.
It is their house.
I have to watch this tomorrow now.
I'm never watching this. I'm never doing it.
Like my first reaction was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then after like 15 minutes, I was like, "I've been captured." Like it's
it is invigorating after a while. Like
it sounds like an hour-long car wreck.
It is.
It is.
It's crazier.
You walk away from this documentary like kind of like being on Fatty's side.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, like he's not a bad person, or like even he's a little bit frumpy, yeah, sure, but like even iDubbbz is like, yeah, like is he cringe though? Like that's
wait, did you just call him frumpy? Yeah. Is that
what yeah, and that's actually something I want to bring up too, because the video ends with him. The video ends with iDubbbz saying like, is he cringy? Yes, but like, what the fuck is cringy anymore? Because like you have people like Fatty, you have people like the Sonic Kid, and you have people like, I don't know, any of these other weird, awkward people who got in front of a camera and just like passionately emoted about something they care about, and he's made it a point to say like, that's braver than what most people do in their day-to-day lives. So, like, if that's cringy, then whatever. Like,
one of my favorite parts is that they ask, because they're so into Star Wars.
Yeah.
And what is his favorite Star Wars movie?
Revenge of the Sith.
Oh God, why?
Because of the battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they're
The one that never fucking ends.
No, and then they go to Robert, and they're like, "Why do you like Star Wars?" He's like, "For the fights." What's your favorite one?
Anakin or Obi-Wan.
I can't. The logic is sound, but emotionally, I'm torn apart inside. Much like Natalie Portman in that film.
The best part is the iDub just keeps he's takes to the camera, are just like, yes, this is real. Like looking at you, the viewer.
Well, to touch back on what Connor was saying, that iDubbbz was talking about, saying about how it's brave, blah blah, and cringe, whatnot. There's to get a little bit serious for a minute. there's such an air of cynicism about anything anybody does.
Yeah.
That anybody putting anything up that is genuine is automatically considered cringe, unless it's someone that has 10 million followers on YouTube.
Kind of the point that I think iDubbbz is making. It's like, at the end of the day, it's why Fatty he understands that he's a mess, and he's a disaster, but he's also kind of the most lovable. He's so innocent and naively lovable.
Instead, why would I worry about people hating me for doing something I like? He's like, that's stupid.
Huh. That's actually refreshing.
He's he's just like garbage sage.
He's a trash wizard.
He's the junkyard wiseman.
Yes.
Garbage Yoda.
Oh,
Hate me, they will.
oh, dumpster
He's
Yoda.
like Chum Bucket from Mad Max.
Yeah.
All right, you combustion.
God. All right, yeah, I have to watch this now. This sounds like the most fascinating thing.
The word cringe has lost all meaning. People use it for literally anything. It's just
here's the thing. Every term that the internet has thrown around the past 5 years, ranging from cringy to social justice warrior to libtard to deplorable, all of it's fucking lost meaning. None of it means anything anymore. When someone from I don't know, when someone calls me a social justice warrior or some kind of left-leaning insult, I'm like, okay, what other buzzwords you got for me? What's trendy right now?
My favorite social justice warrior is Zartan.
I like Birdie from Street Fighter Alpha.
And
I kept kicking myself for one day I clicked a video from a guy who I didn't know had a bunch of other videos that were very kind of anti-SJW, alt-right, not really alt-right, but crazy right-wing stuff. And then I kept getting suggestions like it, and I had to see things I don't know, Batwoman to kill the CW, CW gone full SJW, Captain Marvel, SJW savior, blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's something that, I mean, inherently anybody who throws around the term SJW and actually means it is automatically a shitbag. Yeah. But I hated the fact that people were making, I mean, not that the box office of Captain Marvel suffered, but they were trying to potentially make it suffer, not because the film's merits were not there.
Because Brie Larson said the boo-boo word.
Because she acted offended jokingly in an interview, and people decide to run with that from 10 seconds of interview time with Don Cheadle and somebody else. They were like, see, they can't stand her because they're tired of her social justice, and I've got to go see Mother later today because she's I've got to.
The problem is people, it's 3. Yeah. But they're very loud, and they have 17 different accounts.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but there was somebody on Facebook who I quickly unfriended, who I think she was a comedy button pickup. I don't know. She was a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who I met through one of the groups or something like that. But she posted this maliciously edited video of Jason Momoa with his kids, and tried to infer that Momoa was grabbing his kids, and it's all done through weird zooms and bizarre editing.
First of all, if Momoa wanted to hurt his kids, he would just toss them over his head. Like,
right.
Also, Lisa Momoa is married to
Lisa Bonet.
Lisa Bonet, who is
right.
You're shitting me, really?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. She's
absolutely true.
She's like 10 to 15 years older than him too, I think.
Yeah.
But it was
also she's clearly the dominant in that relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. You watch like videos and stuff.
It was edited to make it seem like he was inappropriately touching his own kids, and I was like, who the fuck would who takes time out of their day to do this?
Internet people who are assholes.
Internet people who have been emboldened by our current president. Let's be 100%.
I mean,
like Jason Momoa, what did he do to you? Sorry about Aquaman? Like,
yeah. Like, Eric, I think
yeah.
it's just the internet has always done this. It's just more like the social media shares it
so much louder now, and I can't stand it.
It used to be just on like 4chan or 8chan or whatever.
Yeah, it used to be isolated, but now it's fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have, like, this forum sucks, it's full of idiots, I'm going to leave it, and then I never have to worry about it again. Which now I guess, like, you get in the form of Facebook groups. But then you leave that Facebook group and you're like, oh, what's happening Instagram? Fuck, god damn it, it's fucking everywhere. It's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook.
Right. I don't use Twitter at all anymore. I post to Instagram. I don't really read anybody's shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I only use Facebook for our groups and my fantasy football team.
Right. I think the problem is algorithms have a lot to do with this. Like, we're learning slowly, or not really that slowly, that, like, algorithms kind of corrupt people. I can't remember what I was listening to.
It's the echo chamber thing.
Yeah, but somebody fell asleep watching YouTube, and they woke up, and it was on, like, fucking alt-right Nazi shit or whatever.
I had that happened to me once. I fell asleep, and I woke up, and it was on those Prager University videos. Which is odd because I don't watch any of that shit ever.
Well, that's what happened with I think
with the Twitter bot.
YouTube got at some point where there was those people making those fake fucked up videos that were getting on kids.
Oh god.
Remember that? That was like a couple
Dan Olson did a video about this where they're what's it called?
They're not videos. Yes, but they weren't on YouTube Kids. But if you watched enough of YouTube Kids, eventually they found a way through like the tags and keywords.
They were procedurally generated videos. I think that's the term for them.
They were all like Russian and like Chinese, I think too.
Right, and they're all uploaded by this company that runs like
it's like a bot
YouTube companies. Yeah, and what they are is they are pre-programmed sort of storylines taken apart piece by piece and plugged in to these simulations. So they create storylines literally by like stitching together pieces of other videos
like,
they've already made before.
And featuring kids characters. Like one of them was like, it's like Spider-Man and Elsa are sitting on a couch. Spider-Man gets drunk and hits Elsa with a beer bottle.
Yeah,
right.
It's always violent. There's alcohol or there's sex stuff.
Well, some of them are completely like some of them are completely just like nothing. Like there's nothing crazy about them. But from the same exact account and from the same people, there are videos like what you're talking about, or there's videos where Spider-Man is pregnant and it's Elsa's.
Keep going.
It reminds me of like something like the seediest parts of like Newgrounds, like worming their way into YouTube.
Yeah.
What? Well, because YouTube doesn't regulate anything. Like they don't.
Yeah.
They leave it up to bots. That's the problem. Is that they can't regulate it because they're on videos, but like there needs to be like filters or something. Like they don't do it.
The problem is that that's Google's entire approach to everything. It's literally algorithms. Like the Google camera, the Pixel 3 camera, which is considered the best camera of any Android phone, it's good because Google has applied all these algorithms to fix their camera and make it look better. And that's just Google's answer to every problem is add an algorithm to it.
Well, it's like Facebook, too. Like something goes wrong on Facebook, good luck finding a human being to talk to. There isn't.
Well, I can say this knowing, like, I know someone that works for Google, and someone that worked for Facebook. The person that worked for Facebook specifically worked at, like, when you report stuff, they were the person looking at it. So for Facebook, it's literally just whatever that person decides.
Yeah.
Well, a quick side positive note, and this is like a 1 in a million thing. My friend, I'm not going to say his name. He had his Instagram account hacked. Someone stole it. Yes, Barack Obama. He and I are brothers. We did a lot of cocaine together. We smoked a lot of Marlboro Lights. Excuse me, Michelle. No, he had his account stolen by somebody from I don't know where.
Nigeria, let's say.
Belarus, something like that. So like the guy like stole that. And what ended up happening was like one of our friends actually works for Instagram/Facebook. And after Bill, God damn it, I just sort of looked at his name. Anyways, after Bill,
Bill Clinton,
Bill Burr,
all the Bills. Anyways,
Bill Obama.
After he had issues trying to get it back and was basically told, go fuck yourself in no uncertain terms, he actually contacted our friend who worked there, and he was like, "Oh, here, give me like a day." And like not even a day later, he had everything back, complete control of his account, and everything was fine. So if you know somebody who works there, you're good. But outside of that, I think their quote is, let me see in the online manual, "Oh, go fuck yourself."
Yeah, and actually, like, I was watching some videos from Corridor Crew about them dealing with copyright strikes, and like the process for YouTube is, or at least actually, it was copyright strikes on YouTube and Facebook security system. Between both of those companies, like they couldn't get like direct contact with anybody. It was ridiculous.
I think every comedian has talked about how, I know listening to Rogan is like, I post YouTube videos of me and they pull them saying copyright, but it's mine. Like it's literally a video of me. So like their algorithm pulls that shit. And he said he talked to Google people and they're like, the only things that they edit are if your name is on a list, and then they will pull you and any video that's connected to you.
So
go ahead.
It used to be that a lot of times those copyright strikes were done without anyone's permission. Like, well, it's still like that now, but it was usually the legal team of, like, say, Nintendo would be like, "Hey, take this down."
Yeah, I got my first YouTube channel was actually struck down by the Gaora Japanese Sports Network legal team because I was making Dragon Gate videos and they were not happy about it. So I didn't get legal strikes from Dragon Gate. I got legal strikes from the TV company.
Now it's Universal Music Group is the big one that takes out a lot of videos.
But that happened to like Team 4-Star at the time. Is it like Toei that goes after them?
Oh my god! It's Toei and No, I don't think it's Toei. I think it's more Funimation. Funimation goes after Team 4-Star all the fucking time.
Well, Funimation's a bunch of dicks anyway. So
I'm guessing maybe it was one of them. I'm guessing Funimation makes way more sense. But I know. Just to correct, like Rogan, I can't remember.
There are a lot of examples of this. I mean, maybe you're a struggling podcast network that uploads your videos to YouTube, and you make a cover photo using a PNG of the crow, and then Miramax comes along and says that you have uploaded the entirety of the crow onto your YouTube channel. Please take it down.
Yeah, remember when we did that?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
That happened?
Did that happen to us?
Yeah. That happened to us.
I never heard about
claims
this.
They claim that we uploaded the entirety of the crow when we didn't. It was clearly our podcast of the crow.
Yeah, you only uploaded the parts without Brandon Lee.
Right.
So like 90% of the movie.
So wait a minute, I can actually see, like, if you look at just a thumbnail and the length of the episode, someone will probably go, "Oh, they uploaded the crow. Those bastards."
Right.
But there's no video. Like, what filter does that go through?
I don't know. There's like someone uploaded a video with the image connects to the crow and it's close to the length.
And it had 5 seconds of music from the movie.
It did. That was part of it, I think. But here's the thing. So we get that music pull all the time. Like every movie special we've done. So I was like, okay, it's going to be another music thing. But then I clicked on it. It's like, oh, you uploaded the entire movie. We want you to take this down. It's like, no, I didn't. No, we didn't. Not at all. That's not what we did.
See, what I do, Arlen, is I speed up the audio for any of the music. just a little bit.
I mean, that's probably smart.
See,
but...
I like people who upload WWE stuff, but they create this like obnoxious like 3-corner or like 3-sided border that takes up 2/3 the screen, and they put like the match in just the bottom left corner. I'm like, you know what? This is better than paying for it. So
yeah, we could just hit the zoom function and just zoom in and like, move it to the side.
That's how I watched the first season of Rick and Morty.
That's how I was watching. Actually, Harvey Birdman was all of Harvey Birdman was on YouTube for a long time, and I guess when they updated their website, they probably came and struck all of it because now you can watch. You can't watch all of Birdman, but a lot of it's on there.
Adult Swim is usually pretty good about putting all their stuff on their own website.
I'm very thankful for them because like the Rick and Morty 24/7 streams are a godsend because I can just put that on whenever the fuck I want and just have it in the background.
I'm trying to remember what it's one. Oh, Daily Motion is like the place where anything that's dead that no one gives a fuck about is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Daily Motion is actually where I find. So thankfully I have DVDs of some of this stuff, but some of the older Dragon Gate stuff that like is pretty much out of print and is impossible to find. Some of it only existed on Daily Motion for a while. Yeah. So like a lot of the rips of shows I have are identical to some of the stuff that's on Daily Motion, complete with like an annoying white line that sits on the right side of the screen the entire time.
It's how we were able to watch that Wonder Woman pilot and the Justice League 97 garbage because they're just on Daily Motion.
I'm sorry, Arlen. I just wanted to go back to the Crow thing real quick. What you should have done is respond to the legal team that was making this claim, just saying, "Thanks for listening. Please leave a comment and subscribe."
Don't forget to click the bell.
Smash that like button, anonymous lawyer.
Put a ring on it.
What's funny is that like I won't say which ones, but like for Movie Dumpster, like we've watched some of those movies on YouTube because like.
They don't
like
exist
one of us,
anywhere else.
They don't exist anywhere else.
Yeah.
The legal team for that dinosaur movie you watch is probably all dead.
Wait, Pre-Hysteria? Oh my!
Pre-Hysteria 3 with our very own Matt Letcher, aka the Reverse Flash, as like a 19-year-old bully.
When you said dinosaur movie, my head was ringing. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I was
I
think that movie was a mini golf movie.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Tammy the T-Rex too, the one that stars one of my favorite sub characters from Thief, a great film.
Yeah, Prehistoric is barely a dinosaur movie. Those things are in there for like a hot minute, and they barely do anything. I think one of the dinosaurs, one of the 5 of them, is perched on top of a prop the entire film and never leaves that spot.
Madonna? Is that her name?
Yes.
Magnificent.
Because one of the movies when you said what Connor said he was doing is like, I have seen that movie, and I've seen that movie a lot.
Yeah,
that was like one of those movies that was. Like,
I've said it before. I've said it on Movie Dumpster. I'll say it here. Like when that movie opened up, I saw a bunch of names pop up, and then Matt Letcher popped on the screen. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Lost my mind. I'm hoping one day to meet him so I can bring it up to him. And ask him how it feels to have Icy Hot in his dick, because that's the fate of that bully in that movie.
Oh man.
But we watched fuck it. I'll say we watched Home Sweet Home on YouTube, and that's a Thanksgiving themed slasher movie. Then after watching it, I'm like, okay, well no one would want to put this on DVD because you can't see anything. Like
right.
It's unwatchable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like 2/3 of that movie take place at night, and no one bothered to light the scene. So you're just looking and going, I don't know what's happening. People are moving. Like,
oh, they were shooting night for night. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of like that movie Axum, but we didn't watch that. Well, we didn't talk about Axum because Axum is actually too bad to review in long form. So just watch Cosmonaut Variety Hours video on it.
Yeah,
there you
go.
Video. This would be a random tangent, but you know how we were talking about like weird 2000s sci-fi movies?
Yes.
In the chat? There was an Al Pacino one that popped in my head that I forgot existed.
Oh no!
Can you guess what I'm talking about?
I have no idea, but like I can't guess. But when you say it, I'm probably
Simone.
Oh, the one about the virtual reality or the virtual person? Yes.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like it's not her, but it's Al Pacino, and like. Pretty much no one, I guess Winona Ryder's in this, Jay Moore, which I don't remember, but like Al Pacino creates like some reason he's a tech genius.
No,
and
he's not.
He creates an actress to be in like a model to be in ads and movies, and she's not real.
Start over again because for some reason Google Hangouts was like, the call has ended.
So here's the IMDb description: a producer film is in danger when his star walks off, so he decides to digitally create an actress to substitute for the star.
Is this Simone?
Yes, Simone. Yes, but the I is a 1 and the O is a 0.
Yeah. I've never seen that, but I think you said for some reason that made me think of Virtuosity, which is a movie we want to watch on the show.
Oh, the Russell Crowe movie.
Yeah.
Yes, with Denzel Washington.
Because we watched Lawnmower Man, we're like, you know what's the better version of this? Virtuosity.
That's the first American movie, I believe.
Really?
Yes, that's another. I think I've seen all of these movies because like we had a hot box when I was a kid, and they were all on HBO. Showtime. And yeah, Virtuosity I think is Russell Crowe's first American movie.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Robert Stamper was like Australian.
It's not the movie about the hockey team in Alaska. Is that not? Or
shit, that movie I can't remember.
Something Victory, Alaska, something. It's like an Alaskan hockey team that they play like the champions or whatever. And
is it Miracle?
Is it Miracle?
Something? The American team that won the Olympics.
Yeah,
in upstate New York.
It's not Miracle. I don't remember. But it's like they're like a small time team. Like they're not like a big team. They're just a small team, and they play like the champs, the reigning champs, and like the
D2.
Yeah, D2. I'm imagining that movie. Everybody's still a child, but Russell Crowe is
like on the team. He's the only adult.
And Virtuosity came out in 1995.
Yeah,
so I
the only other movie I can see on his list that I know before that is Proof.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Romper Stomper years and years ago, but that was still an Australian film. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Virtuosity is his first American film.
LA Confidential 2 years later after Virtuosity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, this
Quick and the Dead is 95, so it might have been the same time. I don't know.
Virtuosity is fucking crazy.
I haven't seen it in years.
Remember when he was Robin Hood? I don't.
Yeah. Remember that film that everybody loved?
That was what I was like. I sat in the theater. I was like, "Is Ridley Scott bad now?" Like,
yeah.
What about when they made? Do you remember when they made a Robin Hood movie last year with Jamie Foxx and the kid from Kingsman?
Yeah,
I'm still angry that happened.
Did he?
Here's the only good thing about that movie, is that it failed. No, it wasn't Guy Ritchie. It was some guy who did like.
Are you sure?
He did like the Snow White movie or something like that. But it was very much going for like a Guy Ritchie thing. But the good thing about that movie is that it did horribly, and I'm happy about that. Well, no, so here's the thing. A couple years ago, and I was reminded by this because of Facebook's little Wayback Machine thing that they got going on. Is that there was this like week-long thing where every studio was announcing different like reimaginings of these sort of classic characters like Zorro, Robin Hood, King Arthur, but it was with like a sci-fi twist. Zorro with zombies, Robin Hood in the future, and I was like, I got really pissed off because I thought that was going to be the new thing, like Hercules in space.
It was definitely going to be the new thing.
Remember when there was like 11 Oz movies in production at the same time?
Well,
yeah, but they weren't going to do Oz in a black hole. Like, it's Oz, but there's a black hole there.
2 hours
we don't know why.
It's actually
quick. Sorry, go ahead, Lou.
I was just going to say on the comic show on Tunes, I did not realize that there was a Pan movie that had, Rooney Mara and Hugh Jackman in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was like a huge surprise to me.
Yeah, the trailer's got a great song by I can't remember her name. I'll find it out in the show. Yeah,
plays Tiger Lily.
The Native American woman from
yes.
I can't remember. I'm not that familiar with
the whitest woman on earth.
But what I wanted to add real quick was the guy who directed the Robin Hood movie with Taron Egerton in it, directed the very first episode of Black Mirror.
What? You want something crazy?
One.
You know who's directing the Dark Crystal series?
Who?
Louis Leterrier, the director of the Clash of the Titans remake and the Incredible Hulk.
That fits.
Why?
Incredible Hulk is not terribly directed.
No.
Yeah. Louis Leterrier is a good director. Like he's good at like directing a movie competently, and he's good at directing action scenes. And he's good at music. He's just like not great at story if he doesn't have a good script.
He's just kind of like a stem cell of a director. Like, because he's just like, what is your special talents? I saw a movie once. All right, can you make one? Sure.
You can't do anything with like
the ultimate team up would be that director and Christopher Lambert.
Right. Yeah. I mean, his best movies, as far as I'm concerned, are the Transporter movies, and that's because Jason Statham, and it's Jason Statham doing what Jason Statham does, and because he's right, and because he's such a presence, he takes over that movie.
Except that Jason Statham is better in the oh my god, what's the one where he's dying the whole time?
Crank.
Yeah,
which are the two guys that did the Ghost Rider 2, and then they split up. What are their names?
Niveldine and Taylor.
Right. Yeah. Niveldine. Yes. Yeah.
So he's like a worse version of them.
Sure. I think he's going for a different thing. Like his movies are like Eurotrash versions of like 70s crime movies, kind of like.
So is he like a competent,
like The Driver?
Is he like competent people?
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to say because like here's the thing, when we watched House of the Dead, like we got like we hated Uwe Boll before, but then it's like, how do you re-hate someone? Like how do you find a new way to just despise them? And we're like, this guy's a fucking idiot. And if he's not an idiot, like he's a complete he's a con man who knows full well what he's doing, and is just doing this for a quick buck. But he's like the anti Tommy Wiseau. Where you're like, I can't tell if you're a fool or a genius. Like,
I think that to me, he is a guy that some sort of cartel or something similar in some like not Russian country is using to launder money.
Yeah, I've said that many times.
Yeah, he had a tax shelter for all of his movies, so like they were profitable before they even got released.
And it was just.
But at the same time, but when he would make a movie like House of the Dead, you go like, this is uninspired, unmotivated garbage with no ideas and just nothing going for it, and everything about it is lazy and incompetent, and it makes you a bad person.
Well, as Arlen likes to point out, the insurance that companies take out on movies is profitable.
But then I was gonna go to like, and Hunter, I think you've seen one of these movies. Like, what is it, Rampage or Assault on Wall Street?
Yeah, no, I've seen a couple of the Rampage movies.
Like, there's movies that he's made though where he's like trying to say something. And I'm like, okay, are you a fucking artist or are you an idiot? I can't tell are you both? I can't tell what you're trying to do here.
No, he's definitely
hold the fuck up. We need to re-examine something here. You're saying there's a couple Rampage movies?
There's three.
Oh,
I did not know that. I knew that there was 3 Blood Rain movies that he did.
There are three Rampage movies. There's one Assault on Wall Street movie. There is
Alone in the Dark, Far Cry.
There's Postal and a few other, like, I think I've heard Postal was his best movie, but I don't want to watch Postal.
It's not.
There are 3 different In the Name of the King movies.
It's not.
Do you know do you know who's in the 3rd In the Name of the King movie as the star?
Isn't it Dolph Lundgren?
No, that's the second one.
Oh, fuck.
Mr. Dracula /
Chris Redfield?
Dominic Purcell.
Oh my god. No, not the other one, Hunter. Not
No, from Legends of Tomorrow that plays
Nick.
Oh
God. Whatever. Good for him.
Every single other name ends in a VA. So the second name is Ralista Paskavava.
Oh, yeah, that's a Russian production.
Well, so how much are the video game companies getting for letting people use the rights?
Okay, here's the thing. When's the last time you heard of a Dungeon Siege game coming out?
That studio probably does not exist.
Yeah.
And like House of the Dead, like that's essentially a dead franchise, and there was 2 of those movies. He made a Far Cry movie, and I can't believe he was allowed to make a Far Cry movie. Because of where
different
Far Cry is now.
Ubisoft.
Yeah,
different Ubisoft. At the
very,
time.
very much so.
Oh, that developer is super dead. Holy shit!
I mean, so forgive me, I don't know this. Was the first Far Cry game like a giant hit,
No.
or was it kind of like
It was a proof of concept for tech that they had.
Like
but it was
that's what I
also
assumed.
it wasn't something that came out and just like fell in a dud. Like it was a game that came out and was like it was this huge tropical island with like really vibrant colors and an engine that could support a lot of stress.
Right.
For the time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a game that came out swinging, you know? Like a lot of games need their second game to get big. They need their Uncharted 2. They need their Halo 2.
Because Far Cry 2 is criminally boring. Far Cry 2 is like, hey, guess what? Welcome to Africa. Your character has malaria. You're sick and dying the whole time.
Right. So I think my point is, if Uwe got the rights when the first Far Cry came out, before anybody really knew it could be anything, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Also, Ubisoft is European, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're French.
No one acknowledges the Far Cry movie exists.
Yeah.
It came out. Let's see. The first game came out in 2004, and the movie came out in 2008.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah. That was right on the that was kind of on the cusp then of part 3 coming out.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Wow. They damn.
Yeah. And then what else? What the fuck else did he make? He did
Far Cry 2 came out in 2008.
Okay. Then my time. I'm old. Time moves faster for me. Give me a break.
But I forgot the fucking point I was trying to make here. But no, yeah, we were watching House of the Dead. We're like, it was like I said, discovering a new way to hate somebody because like he's one of the few directors you can see right fucking through. We're like, it's like every hand is visible, you see every string, every move, and he's just fucking laughing his way to the bank while calling Michael Bay a fucking retard.
Yeah,
I'm trying to fight people.
He
didn't try.
He did
beat those people because he didn't tell anyone he was a fucking trained boxer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at the cast of this, and I know 2 people.
In what movie?
Far Cry.
Yeah, it's got the actor who plays Hugo Stiglitz from Inglourious Bastards. And,
right.
And let me guess. Udo Kier.
Yes, and Michael Paré. And then
Michael Paré? No.
Yes, and then one girl, Emmanuel Fogger.
Oh, she's from Saw 2.
Yes.
Okay.
She is also in the House of the Dead sequel.
I can't believe they made a sequel to that.
Huh?
Why? Why did they make a sequel to that?
It was a Sci-Fi Channel original, and it starred Sid Haig for about 5 minutes.
Why?
Did they see I mean, we've discussed this, or maybe I was listening to you guys on Movie Dumpsters.
Do you know what she was in for 2 seasons? The show that everybody's in.
I fucking hate this.
Oh God!
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
It was
ejected from the call.
She was Lex Luthor's first wife in Smallville.
Oh God, that's right. Oh my.
Arlen, it sounded like you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah.
I forgot it already. So
me too.
Smallville can do that for you.
Because you said Smallville, and I forgot where the fuck I lived for a second.
Wow, just replace Smallville with Nexium.
I got it.
Last sentence
Arlen,
you just had.
You were about to probably mention something about sci-fi being in bed with a lot of horrible Z-list movie companies.
Well, Sci-Fi doesn't. Here's the thing. So, Sci-Fi Channel, it's run by a bunch of greedy opportunists, as far as I can tell. And that's just
bad then.
It's just what they do, it seems. Like, they're the reason that I know the movie War Wolves exists, sadly. And, yeah, like, they're
Big
just...
Marvel Comics character.
They just buy these fucking shit B-movies that nobody's ever seen.
Movies.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Movies that, like, truckers and, like, truckers have seen all of them.
One of my favorite things ever was Patrice O'Neal. I can't remember. I think it was on Opie and Anthony back in the day saying sci-fi always has like shitty names, and they went on for an hour. Like, oh, you have Jurassic Park, so they have like Dinosaur Land. Like,
no, they have Carnosaur 5 or whatever.
I mean,
there's not 5 Carnosaur movies. That would blow my fucking brain.
There are 5 Carnosaur movies. I'm fairly sure.
Transmorphers. What did like? Isn't there like Atlantic Rim? Atlantic Rim.
There's a
well,
great,
that's right.
There's
but even before then, Lou, they would do things like this. They would buy the rights to House of the Dead, and then they would run it forever and ever and ever, and then they'd be surprised that it got all these ratings. Better ratings than original things that they wouldn't put advertising dollars on.
Hold on, I have to go back. Here we go. All right. Here is actually what happened with the Carnosaur series. There are 3 movies, Carnosaur, Carnosaur 2, and Carnosaur 3, Primal Species. And there's a movie called Raptor, which they direct-to-video release that recycles footage from the previous 3 films, and then it's around that.
That is
stupid.
Oh,
so they made Erik Roberts.
They made the Crow of Carnosaur movies.
Wait, there's one that came out in 2006 called the Eden Formula.
And it says use recycled footage in the first 3 films, but also use their own footage. It's starring Jeff Fahey and Tony Todd.
It's just it's the same old Roger Corman schlock, but like here's the thing. Corman, there's like a charm to his stuff almost.
Yeah. Corman's kind of winking at you the whole time, being like, hey, isn't this garbage? But have fun.
Right. He knows what he's doing. There's a self-awareness. And also, you can't look at an interview or a picture of Roger Corman and not smile because he's a delightful-looking man.
He's everything he says. He's very deliberate and polite, and he enunciates every word.
And when you ask him about film, he's like, I didn't love film, but I really love classic literature. You know, whatever you want to say. I love Edgar Allan Poe.
When I Googled Carnosaur, I got a cover for a movie called Killersaurus.
Oh.
It's just a T-Rex. It's just a picture of a T-Rex.
How come Roger Corman looks like he has like a ranch dressing company?
Yeah, he does.
Can I just ask, what is a ranch? Is that if they don't have salad dressing, but specifically ranch?
I just got it.
What do you like? What do you see when what is that? That country crock bullshit? Like, what do you see?
Well, Roger Corman was mining in Wisconsin, and he found a vein of ranch dressing, and now he just has a company built around it.
Oh, holy shit!
I don't know.
But he owns a mayonnaise factory.
I think ranch dressing. I don't think Wisconsin. I think like West Virginia.
I was doing Middle America as best I could because I feel like those are the people that consume the most ranch dressing. That and picky teenagers.
Oh man,
I'm ranch dressing with my wings.
You know what else Roger Corman released to the world? Roger Corman's responsible for Frankenstein Unbound.
Yes, he is.
An informative episode of Movie Dumpster because
it's the start of the movie.
That movie single-handedly created our stupid ass gimmick we're starting with today. But I wouldn't suggest Frankenstein Unbound, but I don't know. I feel like people should watch it because it's nuts. Because it's got John Hurt in this like ridiculous, destructive Doctor Who role where he's like, I'm a time traveler who hates everything, whatever. I'm going to have sex with actual Mary Shelley, who's real.
I mean, I feel like you might be disappointed at this point because presumably you've all listened to Movie Dumpster, our listeners, you all have. So he might not measure up to the Movie Dumpster version of the character.
I just feel like any movie with Raul Julia, like not trying to do anything. He's just like
he is sedated the entire film. Like
he's probably on all of the painkillers.
If you watched Addams Family and then went into this, you'd be like, "What is he dying in this movie? No, he's dying in Street Fighter, but he's having so much fun in Street Fighter." Like,
well, like, wait, what is the time difference between Street Fighter and Frankenstein Unbound?
Frankenstein Unbound was
like a year.
Yeah, it's like a year, but like
maybe it's like chemo.
He doesn't look sickly. He looks healthy, but he looks bored out of his fucking mind.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah. Like he's because like you watch him as Gomez, and you're like, he has the energy of 1,000 men, and you watch him, and he's like, "Damn you!" And he slowly throws the pistol. Like
he's an amazing actor. Like I don't know. I love Raul Julia.
And he's probably like, I'm playing Victor Frankenstein. Yes. Who's real? Yes. In the same world as Mary Shelley. Yes.
That's but Spanish. And Frankenstein was a German name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Raul Julia roll. And Bison.
I do want to visit Street Fighter again soon, but so soon.
If you ever
do Annihilation, I'm like,
if you ever do
not that bad.
You cannot do that without having me on because of the star.
Oh,
because it's Justin Kirk.
Okay, but you have to watch Legend of Chun-Li on Movie Dumpster.
I think that's the one we might go with because that
movie's stupid.
That movie is like Street Fighter 1 has like the first movie Raul Julia has evolved into like this camp fest that everyone appreciates. Well, Legend of Chun-Li is like unnecessary and stupid and just like kind of violent in its delivery. Everything about it is dumb.
But it's got taboo.
And she left Smallville to do that movie.
God damn you! God fucking damn you! What was I gonna say?
The movie, she's Chun-Li.
Yeah, I know, but still, you brought up Smallville again.
Why?
And even I'm getting.
Were you gonna talk about
I was
how
a Smallville defender.
They had Taboo from Black Eyed Peas fame playing Vega in it.
Yeah, that was weird.
Hey, they had Neil McDonough be a Scottish M. Bison. You know the character from Thailand.
I mean, all the Black Eyed Peas were in movies that year. Am I not correct in that? I think Fergie was in something.
Yeah, Fergie was in Planet Terror, and then what's his face? Will.i.am was in X-Men Origins.
What about App Day App though?
Who the fuck is that?
That's one of the other guys.
No,
I mean, were they trying to set something up there? The Black Eyed Peas verse.
Which one of the Black Eyed Peas is blind?
One of them is blind.
One of the guys is blind.
Fergie.
Is it?
It's not Fergie and not Will.i.am. It's the other like Haitian guy.
Is it the long hair guy?
No, it's not the long hair guy.
Then it's App Day App.
Yeah, he's blind.
Really?
God
that's
damn!
Why he wears
Wow.
glasses.
That explains why their music is terrible.
The one thing I will give Legend of Chun-Li is that making Michael Clark Duncan Balrog is the best decision they ever made.
I mean, making him anything is the best decision ever made.
Yeah.
I'm glad we talked about this real quick because, like, I did see that Doom trailer for the fucking sequel to the Doom movie, and my God, it looks like a Starship Troopers sequel.
Why?
It looks like a CW show.
Who is this for? First of all, second of all, why would they make? Like, why do they need to make this movie?
I don't know anyone who is like, man, the Doom movie is still really hot. We should probably strike while the iron's hot.
No, when does the new Doom game come out?
Next year.
Next year? I thought it was soon. Like,
it's very soon.
Because when is this movie coming out?
I want to say it's October.
And when is this movie coming out?
Nope, November. Doom comes out in November. Doom Annihilation, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to capture the hype that's going to be around the game.
There's going to be 2 video game movie sequels with the subtitle of Annihilation, and they're likely both going to be fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
Based on properties I like, the universe is
hell on the cover.
Right. Yeah. And here's the thing: those movies, which hadn't come out at the time, they are responsible for Annihilation not getting a theatrical release, a full theatrical release.
Are you serious?
Failing. No, this is a joke because studios are dumb, and that's the kind of shit that they would say.
And that's why I'm looking for a split second because isn't it's that same shit happened to pirate movies, right? They're like, you can't make a pirate movie. Pirate movies, they're terrible. They bomb all the time.
No, The Gina Davis movie, fucking directed by her husband,
Rennie Harlan.
Yeah, that movie fucking bombed hard.
Cutthroat Island, yeah.
Yeah, and then everybody was like, you can't do a pirate movie. And then Disney makes Pirates of the Caribbean, and suddenly they're gigantic hits. But nobody ever said, let's make a pirate movie. Yeah.
But no one else has made a pirate movie since then.
No.
That's because...
Except for that porn company who made a porn movie so fucking good, apparently, they made a PG-13 version of it.
Oh, no, it was so expensive that they wanted to recoup their losses, basically.
Oh, my God.
The whole reason nobody else has made a pirate movie is because Disney completely saturated the market by coming out with, like, how many sequels after the first 3?
Yeah.
But isn't there, didn't somebody do, like, a really good pirate show?
Apparently Black Sails is good. But so here's the other aspect of this is that, and it's not pirates necessarily, but Master and Commander and The Far Side of the World came out around the same time, and that movie was in production for 20 years. I want to say
that movie looked expensive too. Just look at the trailer. I'm like, that's a pirate film.
And it's sailing. It's people on the ocean in old ships that they had to borrow from old naval yards and ships that they had to construct. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I think it was just nobody else but Disney could afford to make movies like that.
Take a look at what I just sent to the chat.
I think anytime you start to
oh no.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, I saw this a while ago. We are not involved with this movie.
I think anytime in a film that you have a large amount of water involved, studios start to get real nervous because that's going to be real expensive.
You mean when they Google?
Because if you're not a Jaws or a Titanic, you're probably not going to do well ultimately.
Waterworld. How much money?
Exactly.
Waterworld.
Waterworld was so expensive.
Waterworld also had a disastrous production. Like I think at some point that entire set burned down and just sunk.
Right.
And also I heard Kevin Costner was like a maniac on set and demanded to rent a yacht every day and take that yacht to and from the set just to go piss.
Well, one of his things is because his brother is a very famous oceanographer or ocean biologist or some shit.
Really?
Yes, Kevin Costner's brother has a PhD in the water.
Oh wow!
He has a PhD in the water.
I'm a professor of water.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my!
Does he have another brother who's a professor of mail?
Of Robin Hoods?
I thought you were going to go baseball.
No.
Professor, did somebody just say Professor of Robin Hoods?
I did. Look at that. We tied it back to the beginning of this conversation.
Professor of Robin Hoods.
Professor of Robin Hoods.
I study Robin Hoods, not criminals, not
not
hero thieves,
not vigilantes. I study Robin Hoods.
Although I do want to say Kevin Costner is connected to one of the greatest sports conspiracies of all time.
Oh,
what is that?
So do you guys know who Cal Ripken is?
Yes,
I know the name.
He was a shortstop.
Yeah,
the record for the most consecutive games played. During one time, the Orioles stadium lost power, quote unquote. And the rumor is because he wasn't there because he was driving home because he went to go beat the shit out of Kevin Costner, who was slamming his wife.
I thought you were going to say Bane came out, like that one.
No, this is a real deal rumor. He drove from
I will be throwing the first pitch in this game.
You're reckoning.
Look at that. Tied it back to Robin Hood from the beginning of the conversation.
Kevin Costner has brought a reckoning to Cal Ripken's wife's vagina.
The fire rises.
He has chlamydia.
What is? Oh my God!
I love how we talked about Kevin Costner. No one brought up a tornado.
Oh my!
Oh, deep cut there, Jesus.
Yeah, seriously. What is the best Robin Hood movie? And you can't don't say Men in Tights.
No, I would say it's like
the Disney
it's hard.
cartoon.
Yes.
It might be the Disney cartoon because I really like the 30s one with fucking what's his face
Errol Flynn.
Men in Tights.
Errol Flynn.
That's not really
But
comedy.
it's dated as fuck.
Here's the thing: I don't
Are you
hate.
talking about Ivanhoe?
What?
Ivanhoe is like I thought that was like the 30s one.
No, the Errol Flynn version. So the Errol Flynn on the stairs. It's the sword fight that's been mimicked by a lot of different stuff. Fucking what's his face from the Rocketeer? He's basically playing Errol Flynn in that movie. Okay.
I don't hate the Kevin Costner movie because I think it's fucking silly as shit and it's kind of fun.
I mean, he gives up on the British accent immediately.
Oh yeah.
Like, here's the thing. This is where I'll give credit to a movie we talked about, I think, last episode, which is Dragonheart. Fucking, he tries with that accent. He tries for a while. He gives up multiple times for multiple sections during that movie, but like he's doing something with his voice. Kevin Costner's just like
"Hi, I'm Robin Hood."
Elevated voice or something. I don't know. Like it's
my memories are it's kind of like when you have the vague flavor of something in a glass when you pour something else into it. That's kind of what his British accent is. It's like it's kind of there.
There's been Sprite in this cup.
Yeah,
you just described LaCroix.
like Christian Slater's in that movie, and he's doing a better job, honestly.
Well, the movie where they see that like he's his brother or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, because he always has been, but they kind of made it a twist, and they really emphasized it in that movie.
I just want to add, so the movie I was thinking of was Ivanhoe, which features Robin Hood, but it's with Robert and Elizabeth Taylor and Joan Fontaine.
Ivanhoe is sort of like the
were any of them in Smallville?
What it's called?
Let me check that.
I'm sure somebody was.
Don't encourage.
I mean, you know who shows up in Robin Hood, right? Do we know who? The villain of The Crow,
Michael Wincott,
collecting one of his swords from his sword collection.
That's right. Because he gets stabbed by Alan Rickman.
I'm actually re-listening to our episode about The Crow to tie it all together, and I just had gotten done. We were talking about that part.
Yeah, we might get taken down for piracy.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? I got it. So fuck all y'all.
That movie has Alan Rickman like operating on a 15 when they just need him to be like a 7. And like, what is that scene where he's getting stitched back together and he's like, "I'll tear his heart out with a spoon," and then Michael Wincott's like, "Cousin, why a spoon?" He's like, "Because you and it will hurt more." Losing his mind in that movie. I love it. Because of Mr. Sunday Movies, the show I watch on YouTube, they went over a movie with like the Rat Pack called Robin and the Seven Hoods. It's like the dumbest mobster movie I've ever heard of.
What?
Yeah. It's
a mobster movie?
It's a mobster movie.
Like Frank Sinatra and
well, then it was a mob front if it has Frank Sinatra in it. That's
it's a bloodless, like consequenceless, like everyone's smiling and they have infinite ammo. Like with I think the opening of the movie is like there's this mob boss who's like, "Hey, it's my birthday. Thanks to all my henchmen," and they all stand up and shoot him.
Okay.
And he reacts to it like, "Oh, what a surprise!" and falls over and dies without a drop of blood. And there's lots of like Sammy Davis Jr. like tap dancing and shooting beer bottles with a 6-shooter, but he has like 43 rounds. Like a weird story involving orphans and a bunch of other weird shit. Like they turn a church into a secret bar with like levers and moving walls and a floor that flips and all kinds of like hokey nonsense.
Definitely mob front.
I was gonna ask if it was Sammy Davis Jr. shooting beer bottles with a glass eye, but he didn't have his glass eye at that point. So
what was this movie? Because I'm looking at
Robin and the Seven Hoods.
My ad lib was he trying to convert everybody to Judaism because that's a thing that he did. But
everyone looks drunk in it because they probably were. It's got lots of weird musical numbers, and I don't know. It seemed very bizarre from the bit I saw from just that little like blurb about it in their show.
This was probably a point. Insane. This probably was a point where Frank Sinatra was just phoning everything in because all you had to do was put his name on it and it sold.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's a great Conan O'Brien clip where I think it's John Mulaney's telling a story about seeing Frank Sinatra as a kid in like the 90s. And like, so I guess at one point Frank had hired his son to like conduct his orchestra. And at the end of every show, Frank Sinatra would be like, yeah, I gave my son a job so he wouldn't sit at home and smoke dope all day.
No, I've got to go bang Nancy Reagan.
I also want to add that Frank Sinatra's character in Robin Hood and the Seven Hoods is named Robbo.
Yep. Of course. Of course.
Oh, actually, Sammy Davis
obviously.
Jr., if this is supposed to be a play on Robin Hood, Sammy Davis Jr. is Will. So it's his brother.
Is he really?
Yeah. So then, did his father or his mother dip into the ink?
Yeah, that's right. And Dean Martin was Little John. That's right. And Peter Falk is in this too.
Peter Falk.
Okay.
Who's Peter Falk guy?
A guy named Guy Gisborne.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's really good casting, actually. Yeah.
Bing Crosby plays Alan A. Dale.
Yeah. Dean Martin's Little John. What else we got here? Barbara Rush, Lady Marion. Yeah, there's Victor.
Robert Volk is Sheriff Glick.
I wonder how much of the movie was Dean Martin fighting off psoriasis of the liver.
Probably the whole thing.
All of it.
Oh, I had a friend who had his dad had all those old roasts on VHS, like the Dean Martin roasts.
That's amazing.
With like B. Arthur and Red Buttons and all those other fucking people, and that was like my first exposure to roasts. And then I saw one on Comedy Central, and I was like, oh. This isn't what I grew up on.
People who actually knew each other would shit on them.
Yeah, these are getting they get progressively worse too. Like, what was one of the last ones?
Charlie Sheen.
Like, why are we roasting Justin Bieber? That motherfucker nerded.
I mean, my favorite is when they roasted the current sitting president, and they made no jokes really at all. Like,
well, there was one that Ann Coulter was on, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that wasn't Charlie Sheen. It was done after that.
Yeah,
I can't remember who it was, but everyone who got up on that stage that wasn't Ann Coulter turned their wrath to Ann Coulter. Like at some point, some hatchet-faced goblin bitch. Like,
what's his name?
That was like Doug Stanhope or somebody. Like that was.
Yeah, they got there and they were deservedly awful to her, and that was fantastic.
Did anyone point out that she's just a rubber glove stretched over a skeleton?
I'm sure somebody said something like that.
Yeah, like there was they were like, oh yes, and Skeletor's here, and he brought his blonde wig.
The favorite thing about her is that she dated J.J. Walker.
Yeah, she did.
Like for a while.
That's weird.
Was decidedly not Dynamite.
Wow, I think we can end on that one.
No, we need to keep going. We need to redeem ourselves.
I have to watch Keep Rising.
Rising.
I have to watch Williams fight a fucking tentacle monster.
Yeah.
And whatever hentai you're into.
I mean, we're trying to figure out how to get to there.
I mean, I'll just say this though. This happened a while ago, but R.I.P. Rutger Hauer. And I'm looking at this movie called Split Second, starring Rutger Hauer, where there's a monster with sunglasses and black claws, and I'm gonna watch that tonight. It's like
I've never seen Hobo with a Shotgun, but I kind of want to.
Oh my god, you need to. That movie's great.
And didn't
great.
Peter Fonda died like today or yesterday, right?
He did.
Yesterday.
He did. But I don't know. Like, I didn't have the same reaction to Peter Fonda.
You don't want to watch the first Ghost Rider where he plays Mephisto?
Not really. No.
I
think only people who are alive during the time of Easy Rider coming out care about him.
I get that feeling as well. Like, I always got the sense that I was supposed to care about him.
Like, he's the son and the brother of two more famous people.
Right. But here's the thing. I have more of a connection to Henry Fonda just because I've watched some Leone movies and some old Westerns and stuff like that. And 12 Angry Men is probably one of the better movies from that decade that I've seen. Probably one of the best movies ever made.
Peter Fonda's in Wild Hogs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's probably about...
He plays like the old biker who teaches them how to be bikers. And
he's in Boondock Saints 2.
Oh,
of course he is. Of course he is.
I've never seen that, and I don't want to.
I forgot he is a voice in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Really?
Oh,
The
Who was he
Truth.
the voice of?
The Truth.
I always forget this. He is in 310 to Yuma.
Yeah,
He's like the old. He's like the old fucking not lawman. He's like an old bounty hunter who's like on his left legs.
When he became like old, he was really good at being like the old, like
Version
biker.
of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old badass. He's pretty good. And
He's also in Escape from L.A.
Oh yeah, he is.
He plays
That
the tidal
movie.
wave that Kurt Russell surfs on.
That's the only good scene
That's
in
the
the movie.
beginning
So
of the movie.
I'll give him credit
Is
for
this
that.
tidal wave going to fight Kevin Costner's tornado? Like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Yes.
Or do they fusion and become like a giant typhoon?
Yes. No, they actually become a water
Okay,
spout.
I feel like we can end actually on the sci-fi thing that we were talking about a little bit earlier. So I saw as I was scrolling through Facebook either yesterday morning or this morning a trailer for a movie called I think it was Zomfoon.
Oh my God. I think this goes back to my comment a couple like weeks ago or whatever. Like the thing is, like, I wish I was creative enough to come up with these shitty things. But I was referencing like Screen Rant. But still.
You could be 100 air if you did that for sci-fi.
Right.
You could eat pretty for a week.
All the Pringles you can eat.
Did they cancel Krypton?
Yes, they canceled Krypton.
But they're making a movie about a typhoon of fucking zombies. Fucking goddamn it.
How does that even work? Is
I
it
don't
raining
know.
tiny zombies?
Well, no, so a zombie outbreak happens, and then they all get caught in the typhoon.
It's Sharknado, but take out sharks and replace them with zombies.
But
yeah.
So, are you telling me the Superman is from Krypton?
But see, Sharknado, it makes sense to an extent because you could have a water spout in a fictional universe that could carry a shark in it. But a typhoon is normally a terrible storm.
No, a typhoon is what the rest of the world calls a hurricane, technically.
Or no, was it Zombie?
Like a tsunami of zombies?
Zombie tsunami. But typhoons and tsunamis are usually pretty connected. Like, they usually happen together.
Tsunamis are connected to earthquakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, brother.
Which
and
is
like typhoons are like what not Singapore, like Indonesia, places like that get hit by.
Okay, this is the worst part. They didn't actually give it a clever title like what I was trying to do. It's just called Zombie Tidal Wave. Oh. Fuck you.
Sake.
Fuck you.
Oh, so World War Z is what you're talking about then. Yeah.
It's just like, what's wrong with you people? Come on.
That sounds like a bad third-party PlayStation game.
I mean, it's a thing that some people have said for a while, which is that porn predicts the future of the rest of the internet, or the entertainment industry. I mean, and this is what happened to porn, where the titles became very like, this is going to happen at minute 13, and that's what this is. It's a movie with zombies and a tidal wave, and we don't need to be clever or interesting or even funny with our titling. We can just say what it is.
You're referencing Tropic Thunder when it says, like, when he's talking about, like, that porn is, like, the thing that finds his technology, right?
Right, well, there have been other people who've said this, and it's sort of a
porn
thing
is
that
what
happens.
dictated if VHS or Beta ended up becoming the winner.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not just that though. Like the fact that, right? But the fact that like porn stars mostly make their money by touring and through having their own websites. Like that's how you make money through Snapchat and stuff like that. That's how a lot of YouTubers are making money now, by having Snapchats and private talks and private chats and things like that, and private live streams.
Selling feet pics.
So it predicts what can happen. And if you're paying attention to that industry at all, it's getting sucked up by a lot of bigger companies that are buying all the little ones and forcing people to go to streaming, and they're not selling DVDs anymore, which does not sound familiar at all to what's happening in the rest of the entertainment industry. So, yeah. It's just
the first thing that's pirated is porn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And talking about all these things getting sucked up and eaten up sounds a lot like war.
Yeah, it does.
Oh my god.
Okay. I think that's actually a good place to unless somebody has something.
We could have avoided it if we just stopped where I said, but instead we had to give him rope so he could hang us with it.
I've been waiting, you motherfuckers.
Get back on the goddamn boat. Get back on the boat you came here on.
It's too late. You've unleashed me.
I set it out to sea. I'm not on it.
He's like Dracula. The moment he shut his land.
I became the wave as I came back towards the land.
So Jesse Ventura is a pirate who also became. You know what? No, I'm good.
The world building on this podcast.
The captain was bound, strapped to the wheel of the ship.
I am the ship you stand upon, and the water that's carrying said ship. I am Ventura.
So you're the water, and you are the well, and you
drink from it and descend.
Me.
Drink forth and descend. Okay.
Drink.
My voice is starting to fail me. So, all right. I've been Connor McGraw. You are inevitable.
I didn't want to say it. I was trying to get him to say it.
So I've been Connor McGraw. We're in the middle of our Blockbuster Bombs thing with Movie Dumpster. Coming up, we're doing Deep Rising. Rain of Fire is out. And soon, I think, we're going to do Green Lantern, and Arlen's going to be on there.
Yeah.
And I said it before, but Joe's going to be in for a hell of a time because he's going to sit there and listen to three battered DC fans just tell him why it sucks to be a DC fan as far as movies go.
Yeah.
Rain of Fire is out. We did Clash of the Titans. Up there in that, I've lost the T-shirt. I can't find the fucking shirt for Clash of the Titans. It seems like I did that episode and then it ascended to T-shirt heaven, seemingly having fulfilled its purpose finally. That or Joe theorized that Le Terrier came to my house and stole it, having collected the last one. Now he can forget that movie ever existed.
Right. Sounds like that.
But we're also doing 13th Warrior, Pluto Nash, and one more, maybe not. I can't remember. I gotta look at the list. But yeah, that's what we got coming up. And after that, it's my birthday, and I think we're doing Streets of Fire, and I can't fucking wait.
Nice.
Oh my.
Yep. I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about Willem Dafoe's fucking leather suspenders and his Robbie Rotten hair.
Nice. So my show, the Los Haro Podcast, which I host with Erik Sayor, that comes out bi-weekly now at this point. So go listen to our last episode, the Coronas and Family Cast edition, in which we cover the entire Fast and the Furious franchise. We talk about Justice for Han and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's muscles, among many other things. So yeah, have a good time. Listen to that. That's all I got for now.
Do you talk about tiny God damn it, I can't remember his name now. Guy who does the voice of Groot, the Iron Giant. Fuck, Vin Diesel. Do you talk about tiny Vin Diesel and giant rock one?
No, but that is the preview picture for the episode.
My favorite part of that movie is when The Rock flies. I think I posted that in Pixels.
No, that's not The Rock. It's Vin Diesel who flies.
No. It is The Rock that flies.
No, The Rock does. Okay, The Rock does fly. You're talking about when they're in the airplane.
Yes,
and they're fighting.
And then he like levitates up and then forward and clotheslines at a insane, like ridiculous, like angle.
Well, him and Vin Diesel do a total like combo takedown fucking on these two dudes. It's fucking insane.
So they do a Rival Schools United by Fate team up.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
You can find me, Erik Fedorchak, at Erik_Fedor on Instagram.com. There are pictures of dogs and cats and food and comics and whatever the fuck else I feel like putting up because it's my Instagram. I'm also floating around the Phantom Zone doing the things that I do on there, probably finding weird comic book panels to post or just being a general malcontent. And I think that's really all I have because Jesse disappeared into the ocean brine as both the ship and the ocean.
When did he go back to Dagon? Like when?
At the mountains of madness.
Giant Cthulhu to Fatagan, you motherfuckers.
He went to go summon Cthulhu.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
I've been in Innsmouth since before time.
So
with my giant penguins.
Right. So don't follow me on social media ever. Don't stop doing it.
Don't stop doing it. You heard him right there. Follow
Unless
us.
you're me. I'm allowed to follow him everywhere.
You are. He is, and select other people. Go subscribe on YouTube, my YouTube channel, The Shut-Ins. We're on a little bit of a hiatus right now. We're getting ready to come back. That's good stuff. And
Don't follow me on social media, but subscribe to my YouTube channel.
It's not. I technically do the channel with someone else. It's not my shit. Check out Monster Mash Podcast. We'll be back eventually. Other than that, yeah.
All right. So I'm Luke Gonzalez. You can check out on here. We have Smallville Chronicles, where we have one more episode left of season 4. And then on Thursdays, we do And Out Comics, which we did a new thing this week, which we had a debate over if you could switch a character onto a team, who would you do? And the winner was Hellboy on the Defenders.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'm not shocked, but go ahead.
Yes. And that was Connor Irving's pick. But and we have a new episode of And Out Legion of Tunes coming out this week, talking about the news and kind of discussing these live action remakes. And then you can follow me at young_Kami. It's YUNG_K.
You bastard.
That was fantastic.
That's great. I'm not even mad.
Well played.
Wow.
And to go back to what we were talking about before, as the only person here related to somebody who was arrested for a crime related to vor.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yes.
Oh no!
The student is becoming the master.
We can end the show here. We can just
My face hurts.
done.
Oh my god!
Thanksgiving recipes I could share with the group.
No more after darks.
Fuck, that's so funny.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
I've returned from